Hey everyone, we're about to get started. If you could just hang on for just a moment. All right. Hopefully you can hear me. All right. Okay, so let's get going. So hi everyone, thank you for joining us today. My name is Sean Henry, and I'm joining you from Cheshire, Connecticut. Hope you all enjoy this hangout on air. If there's any questions along the way, if you could just use the Q&A app that's in the right-hand side. We'll have a minute to go through those questions at the end of the presentation. Just a little bit more housekeeping. This presentation should last about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll try to keep it brief. There is a lot of ground to cover. And what I would do is, if you're following along, you might want to grab a notebook, take some notes during the presentation. And as I mentioned at the end, we'll take a few minutes to go through those. So to give you a bit of background on both myself and our company, we're Pepperland Marketing. And we're really passionate about creating what we call perpetual growth for our clients through always on inbound marketing. And what we mean by that is your marketing team or your employees might go home at night and they're not there to push the buttons and keep people engaged. But with inbound marketing, you could always be in front of your customers at the moments that it matters most. And we work with you to create a program and a campaign that's always going to be working for your business. We work primarily with larger B2Bs, but we do work with smaller clients as well. We've worked with a lot of local retail shops in Connecticut. Also worked with local governments, nonprofits, and really anybody who's a fit for inbound marketing. We're happy to help. Me personally, I've been in marketing for about 15 years now. I built my first website in the late 90s, and I quickly gravitated towards the marketing side. If you have a great website, well, how do you actually get people there? How do you get people to convert and buy from you? Which led me down the path to where I am now. I've worked as both an in-house marketer and on the agency side, and I'm very passionate about what I do. Our services include PPC management, SEO consulting, social media, content development, analytics, really everything that goes with inbound marketing. We also offer marketing automation services. We'll help you build your lead nurturing campaigns. We're a HubSpot partner, so we work specifically with HubSpot software, and we're also a badged Google partner agency. More recently, we actually just joined the Let's Put Our Cities on the Map program, which we're very excited about. And we're going to be offering a number of free workshops over the next few months that are aimed at really getting small businesses online for free, taking advantage of some of those free tools that are out there to make sure your business is found when people are searching for the products and services that you offer. So stay tuned there. We're very excited about that. So in today's session, we're going to discuss a few things. Basically, this is going to be a high-level overview of everything that you need to know about AdWords. So think of it as AdWords 101. What is AdWords? That's Google's advertising platform. It lets you display ads in search results as well as in the Google Display Network, which we'll touch on very briefly today. At first, we'll give you that quick overview of what it is and how it works for you. We'll let you know how you can find the best keywords to target for your business, how you can create great, compelling ads that are going to convince people to click and visit your website, and then how you can go beyond search and take advantage of the Google Display Network and things like YouTube So you could really start to build awareness for your brand and create that demand that would drive somebody to go to a search. So let's get started. So again, why advertise on Google? If you think about it, every single day there are billions of searches online. So it's almost like this giant database of intentions. Why do you go to Google? Usually you go there when you're trying to fix something or diagnose a problem, or you're trying to find a place to go. You're looking to buy something, or you're doing some kind of research. But when you go to Google, you have intent, you're active, and you're looking to find a solution for your need, which is why it's a really appealing place for small businesses and large businesses alike to go and advertise, because you can get found at the moment that it matters most. When somebody goes to Google, they type in exactly what they're looking for. And the Google Search Network through Google AdWords will let you display your ad to those people at that precise moment. So to dive a little bit deeper, we're going to go over AdWords and how Google works. And we'll give you that quick introduction to advertising on Google. And we'll explain the differences between AdWords and another tool that Google offers called AdWords Express. And we'll touch on all those in just a second. So to get started, how do ads on Google.com work? Ads are, of course, triggered by a search in Google. Somebody will go to Google either on their desktop or their mobile device, and they might search for something like clothing boutique. That's called a search query. So what Google does is it looks at that search query. So what is that person looking for? And it factors in things like time of day, location, and their past search history to try to match up everything that has index and search results and display the best result. And if you've created an ad that's relevant and closely related to that word that that person typed in, there's a good chance that your ad will display and you will capture that click. As soon as somebody clicks on the ad, the goal is, of course, to get them to your website. And you need to have a really professional, clean, high-quality website that convinces somebody to take the next step. That could be buying something online. It could be coming to eat at your restaurant, or if you're offering a service, you may be hoping that somebody completes a form so you can capture that lead and continue the sales process. But once they've clicked through that ad and gone to your website, it's really up to you to close the deal. So if we look at search results, there's really two things that pop up. So again, somebody types in a keyword. In this example, the keyword is clothing boutiques. That's what they're searching for. And you see a combination of things. At the top of search results, you'll almost always see 3 ads. Sometimes it's 2 ads, sometimes it's 3. Those ads also appear on the right-hand side of the screen, as well as the very bottom. Just below those ads, you'll start to see organic listings. And an important thing to note here is that the majority of clicks are going to go to either those top 2 clicks, those top 2 placements, which are almost always ads, or the very first organic search result. So if you're not found in those spaces, chances are you're not going to get the click. And if you think about search results, if you're on the second page, really nobody's going to see you. So there's really no point in even being there. So how do you do that? How do you get up to the top? And that's something we're going to talk about today. One other quick thing to note here, another way to distinguish an ad versus an organic listing. The organic listings are the free, the results that you have to actually earn. You don't pay for them. An ad has that little yellow box right off to the side that clearly states it is an ad. So you should always know if something's paid or an organic result. The organic results are something that are highly valuable, and you'll want to factor those in as well. You'll want to earn those organic rankings. But that's something that you have to work towards over a very long period of time. It could be a number of weeks, it could be a number of months, it could even be several years before you get that organic ranking. And that's why AdWords is so nice. You can literally get your ads up and running within a few minutes, not a few months. So while you're working on your SEO to get that organic rankings, AdWords is a great way to get that visibility immediately. So to create your ads, there's 2 different ways, there's 2 different paths that you can follow. Google has 2 separate platforms. One is called Google AdWords and one's called Google AdWords Express. And they're both very similar in some ways. They're both pay-per-click models, meaning you're only going to pay when somebody actually clicks on your ad. You don't pay for a simple impression, meaning your ad can display 1,000 times, be seen by 1,000 people. But if it's only clicked on once or twice, you're only going to pay once or twice. That's what we call a PPC model. So both AdWords and AdWords Express follow that model. And there's a lot of smaller differences. Some of those are in this graph. We're not going to touch on each one of those points, but the key thing here is if you're just getting started and, say you're a small business owner and you don't have a full team and you need to do this quickly and you want to give it a try, AdWords Express is a great place to start. It lets you get up and running in a matter of minutes. You could probably get your ads up and online in maybe 15 minutes if you go right through it. But it's a very simplified version of Google AdWords. They take away a lot of those more complex features that larger advertisers will use, and eventually you'll want to use to really optimize and get the most bang for your buck. But it's a great place to start. As you start to mature your campaigns, you're going to want to make a lot of refinements to those campaigns and your ads and the keywords that you're bidding on, which you can only make if you're using the full version of Google AdWords. So AdWords Express is really something you only want to use to just get started, to get a feel for it, get your feet wet. But then you'll almost always want to graduate to Google AdWords. The one con to using Google AdWords is it requires a lot of focus and a lot of time to really make it work well. You'll probably want to be spending at least an hour a day going through your AdWords campaigns to make sure they're properly optimized. And that's why a lot of businesses will choose to work with a Google partner like Pepperland to manage those campaigns. They've got other things to focus on. They have a business to run. They're interacting with their customers. They don't have time to sit there and fine-tune their bid adjustments and their ad copy. So they trust somebody like a Google partner agency like Pepperland to do that work for them. And as you grow, that certainly may be an option, or you might be the type who really loves to do this stuff yourself. And we're going to guide you through the steps to do so. So to sum it up, Google AdWords is Google's advertising program. It uses a pay-per-click model, meaning you only pay for the clicks that you get from your ads, which is rare. It's not like taking out an ad in a newspaper where you're kind of crossing your fingers that that ad is going to be seen by somebody who's likely to buy from you. And it doesn't matter if they actually show up to your business or pick up the phone and call you or not. You're still going to pay for it. With pay-per-click, you only pay for people who have an interest and have a strong likelihood of actually buying from you. Advertisers do not pay for their ads to just show. The impressions are actually free. And there's two different options that you can take advantage of, both the full version of AdWords, which is the most common, and AdWords Express, which is a great way to just get started very quickly. So if you're going to start an AdWords campaign, one of the very first things you're going to have to do is find the right keywords to target. So that's what we're going to dive into. We'll talk about different keyword match types, tools like Keyword Planner, which are going to help you identify keywords to target, helpful reports within the AdWords interface, like the search terms report, and negative keywords. So what is a keyword? A keyword is a word or phrase that can trigger an ad in search results. It's not the word that somebody actually types into a search engine like Google. That's called a search query. It's really an advertising term. So this is a word that I would like to trigger my ad. It should be very specific to the product or service that you sell. And you want it to have as closely matched to the actual searcher's query as possible. And it's not an easy thing. It requires a lot of research. You have to do a lot of brainstorming. You have to do a lot of fine-tuning. And when you first start a campaign, you're almost always going to make mistakes. You're going to include keywords that probably weren't that good, and you're going to want to weed those out as you start to optimize your campaign. So we'll dive into this a little bit more. So when you set a list of keywords to target in Google AdWords, something that you're going to have to decide is the match type. Now, a match type determines how closely the search query should match to the keyword that you're targeting. And there's 4 different match types. There's broad match, there's phrase match, exact match, and negative. The place where most advertisers will typically start is with broad match. And the reason for that is if you think about a keyword, so let's think about a zip drive. People use several different words to describe the same object. So with a zip drive, some people might call it a flash drive. Some people might call it a USB drive. And Google knows all these different variations because there are billions of people searching Google every single day. So it collects that data and it's able to know that A zip drive is really the same thing as a flash drive. So with broad match, you can just choose one of those variations, and Google's going to use its algorithm and the data that it has to make those matches for you. So an example, if you target the keyword Alaska cruise and you use broad match, your ads can trigger for keyword search queries like Alaska cruise, cruise in Alaska, AK, and Alaska cruises. Those are variants, and you've only selected a single keyword, so it's a very convenient way to start. Now, as you start to optimize your campaign to make it more effective, you may want to migrate over to phrase match and exact match. And what that does, it starts to weed out some of the more loosely associated words that might not be super relevant to your business. And usually after you've been running broad match for a period of weeks, it becomes very obvious which words you should make phrase match or exact match. So an example is, if you're setting Alaska cruise as a phrase match, your ad will be eligible to trigger for Alaska cruise, Alaskan cruises, 10-day Alaska cruise, and Alaska cruise luxury, but it wouldn't be eligible to appear for the word like cruise in Alaska because the phrase Alaska cruise wasn't present in that search query. An exact match follows a very similar logic. It makes it even more precise, and once you've really focused in on the keywords that are highly valuable to you, you'll start to migrate most of your match types more and more over to phrase and exact. Now, negative, that's a keyword that you do not want your ad to appear for. So let's say that that advertiser started with the keyword Alaska cruise, and they started to see in their reports that their ads were triggering for search queries like Alaska cruise cheap, Alaskan cruise jobs, and Tom Cruise in Alaska. And those weren't keywords that that advertiser wanted their ads to display for. And that's extremely common. That happens with every single campaign that you launch. So once you've identified those keywords, and I'll show you how in a minute, you'll want to list those as negative keywords. And that'll prevent your ad from triggering for those search queries in the future. It's a fantastic way to optimize your campaigns and save you a lot of money and improve the ROI of your efforts. So some common examples of negative keywords. For, let's say you're a service provider. Almost every service provider wants to block keywords like become, study, classes, license, training, jobs, supplies, because that's probably not what they're offering. They're not offering training services or jobs. You know, they're looking to get people to pay for the service that they're offering. So some other keywords that are used by all advertisers are words like free, lyrics, secondhand, used, pics, pictures, definition of, and history. And that'll weed out people who are just doing research about a specific topic. Maybe they're not necessarily looking to buy, or people who don't want to pay. You know, free is a very commonly used search query. So if you eliminate the word free from triggering your ads, you're only going to get people who are willing to pay for your products. So again, negative keywords are extremely important, and they're something that you'll absolutely want to add to your campaign. So how do you find relevant keywords? A great place to start is the Keyword Planner. This is a free tool that's available to all advertisers, and you'll find that as soon as you create your AdWords account. You would navigate to Tools, go to the drop-down, you'll see Keyword Planner. And basically what you do is you'll type in a list of keywords that, you know, maybe just come to you top of mind, plug those in, and AdWords is going to give you all sorts of helpful metrics that'll help you decide, you know, are these the right keywords to target? Do these make sense? Some things that they'll include are the estimated clicks that you'll receive if you target those keywords. How many times will your ads appear? And what's the expected click-through rate based off the historical performance of other advertisers? How much should you expect to pay per click? So it's a really great place to plan your initial campaign, identify keywords that you'll want to target, and come up with an estimate of what your budget should be. It is important to note that these are just estimates, so you have to take it with a grain of salt, but it does help you start and give you some great ideas to kick off your campaign. So to quickly summarize there, you'll use the Keyword Planner to search for new keyword and ad group ideas. And that's an important point, which we're not really going to get into too much detail, but Keyword Planner will help you create the right structure for your AdWords campaign. And that's a more advanced topic, but the way that you structure your campaign is incredibly important at getting the most from AdWords. If you have a poorly structured campaign, it's going to be hard to optimize it, and we'll cover that in the future webinar. But it also helps you identify estimated search volume for a given list of keywords. and traffic estimates. So how many people can you expect to have click your ads and visit your website if you target those keywords? It's a really helpful tool. So once you've been running your campaign for, let's say, 3 days minimum, because you need to capture some data before you start to evaluate the performance of your ads, make sure that you're targeting the right keywords. You know, even better if you have about a week's worth of data, you should have a good starting point to start to make some decisions on changes that you'd want to make. So how would you do that? Again, if you go into the AdWords interface, there's this really helpful report called the Search Terms Report. It's usually the first place that you'll want to start. You'll click on the Keywords tab within your campaign, and then just below the chart, you'll see a few different tabs. One says Keywords, one says Edit, and then there's one that says Details. If you click on the Details tab and then select All, you're going to get to the Search Terms Report. And what this gives you is a list of all the exact search queries that people typed into Google, literally exactly what they typed, that triggered your ads. So to give you a quick example, and we have somebody on the webinar today who's a food truck owner. Let's say that your food truck sells lobster rolls. So an obvious keyword that you may want to target is lobster rolls. And a great place to start, again, is to use a broad match. So you've run your ads for the keyword lobster rolls for about a week or so, maybe a month, and you want to see what actual search queries have been triggering your ads. So you go to the Search Terms Report, you take a look, and you see the keywords like lobster rolls, how to make lobster rolls, best lobster rolls, a long list of other keywords that include the word lobster rolls have triggered your ads. And some of those are really good, and some of those they're not very relevant. So if you're a food truck owner, you want people to actually come to your food truck and get lunch from you. You don't want them going home and making their own lobster. So you probably want to trigger your ad for the search query, how to make lobster rolls. So in this case, you would select that keyword from the Search Terms Report, and you would add it as a negative keyword. And again, a negative keyword will prevent your ad from displaying for that search query. So it's a great way to optimize your campaign and really make it precise and targeted, so it's only displaying for the people that you want it to display for. On the other end, you can use this to identify very valuable keywords. So your broad match keyword, lobster rolls, may be triggered for searches like lobster roll restaurants in Connecticut or lobster roll food trucks. And those are keywords that you would absolutely want to target your ads for if you're a food truck vendor selling lobster rolls. So you would add those keywords to your campaign, and you could do that directly from the Search Terms Report. So again, you'll use the Search Terms Report to see how your ads performed when triggered by actual searches, to identify high potential search terms, and identify relevant searches to include as negative keywords. So you've got a great list of keywords. You're only targeting the right ones. You're weeding out all the bad ones. But your campaign still isn't really performing really well. And why is that? It could be that your ads aren't really that compelling. So how do we write great ads? We're going to touch on ad text specifications and some best practices when coming up with your copy. So if we start with the specifications, you are limited to 25 characters max in your headline. And your headline is the most important aspect of your ad. It's the thing that's going to really stand out. Usually your headline should match the actual search query that somebody typed in. So again, if you're that food truck vendor and you're trying to reach people who are, say, searching for lunch options in the Milford area, so best lunch in Milford, your headline should say best lunch in Milford, and use the rest of your ad copy to explain, hey, you only offer seafood, you only offer lobster. Your ad also has a display URL, and that should accurately depict your website. You don't want to try to stuff in keywords to make your ad seem more relevant. It should be an accurate depiction of what your website URL actually is. Then you have 2 description lines, and you have 35 characters max each, including spaces, which is a pretty limited space. So you want to be very, very clever in the words that you use here. And a little tip: if you use proper punctuation at the end of that very first line. So in this example, it says, want fast results, create your first AdWords campaign today. If you use proper punctuation in that first line, there's a good chance that your ad is going to display at the top of search results and take up a wider range of space, whereas if you had one long run-on sentence that takes over both lines. So that's a little tip that you can throw in there. And you have to include your destination URL. So where is this ad actually going to take you? Usually your destination URL is quite a bit longer than your display URL, which is why you get that separate option. So what makes for a really good AdWords ad? The most important thing is that your ad matches to the keyword that somebody typed in. What was their search query? If it's not relevant, somebody's not going to click on it. And you're probably going to pay more than you wanted to. That will actually determine if you get a high click-through rate. And that's a metric that you can measure. You have to pay close attention to that, because if you have a low click-through rate, Google's going to give you a low quality score, and they're going to make you pay a little bit more to have your ad triggered, because Google wants to offer relevant experiences for their searchers. That's their mission. That's how Google is successful. Your ad should also make you stand out for your competitors. So what makes you different? And that could either be promotion or a high quality of service, whatever it may be. And a really helpful thing to do is include a call to action. People like to be told what to do next. So if you include a call to action, you're probably going to have a higher click-through, and you're probably going to see a higher conversion rate when somebody actually goes to your website. The last thing to remember is that your landing page, so where your ad directs somebody to, has to be relevant both to the ad copy and to the search query. If somebody is looking for lobster rolls, the ad has to talk about lobster rolls, and the landing page has to talk about lobster rolls. If it doesn't, you may capture that click, but they're going to hit the back button. They're not going to actually complete the sale or come visit your store or do whatever it is you're asking them to do. So it does have to be very, very relevant. That's extremely important. So 3 helpful questions to ask yourself when writing ads. What sets your business apart? What makes you unique? What details help sell your products and services? What should a potential customer do next? Answer those questions when you're writing an ad and developing your landing page, and you're going to be successful. So a few examples. Why choose you? Well, we won an award in 2013, or all products are made in the USA, or we're always on time. Specific details that will sell, convince somebody to buy from you. Our batteries last 8 hours. Our evening classes are available. We have 10 convenient locations. And then including that call to action, so telling somebody what to do next. Include words like buy now, or get a free quote, or download the catalog, or visit our store, or come see us for lunch, whatever it may be. Tell somebody what to do next. Another thing you could do, and I'll only touch on this very, very briefly because we're running short on time. Google offers this thing called ad extensions, which lets you add additional functionality to your ad and helps you take up more space in search results, helps your ads really stand out. And there's a long list of ad extensions that are available. We're not going to go into all those right now, but some common ones would be call extension. That's especially helpful if somebody's on a mobile device. Typically, people will search for a business or a category just to get a phone number to call. They don't want to click through to a website and try to see everything on a small screen. So using a call extension will help you get calls to your business, which is just as good as getting an online form submission. Location extension, if you're a restaurant or a store that allows walk-ins, location extensions are incredibly helpful. It actually lets somebody directly open up Google Maps and navigate directions to your business. And then site links extensions, that lets people go to specific areas on your website, which is helpful because you don't always know exactly what it is that somebody's looking for. So this lets you reach to a broader range of needs. So that's something that you definitely want to think about. And those get a little bit complex, so you may want to work with a partner to get those enabled, but they are available to all advertisers. So then very, very quickly, we're not going to spend a ton of time on this, but beyond search, Google has a number of options available to advertisers in what they call the Google Display Network. And what we'll very quickly touch on is what the display network is and where you can place your display ads, and some tools available that'll help you build those campaigns. So I'm actually going to skip this screen, but the Google Display Network lets you create display ads. Those could either be text ads or image ads, video ads, or interactive ads that display on a website. It's not like search ads that trigger when you search for something, but these actually appear on the page, and that could be alongside a news article or or a blog post, whatever it may be. And it's a great way to build brand awareness and create demand for whatever product or service that you're offering. So let's say you try to run your search campaign and search volume is really low. Nobody knows your business or the product that you offer. And that's because the demand isn't there yet. If you run display ads, you can create that demand over time, which will hopefully lead to an increase in search volume in the long run. It's usually the second step for advertisers. They'll typically start with search and then graduate to the display network. So a few ways that you can place your ads on the Google Display Network. You can either look for relevant websites, so websites that talk about a specific topic or category that your product and service falls within. You know, you can do that in a number of ways. The Display Network offers categories that you can select, or you can use keywords to identify specific topics. And those ads will appear again on either relevant websites. It could be blog posts, it could be articles. They can also appear in apps, on mobile apps. And that's a relatively new feature offered. It's a bit complex, but it's a really great new capability. You know, again, ad placements on the Display Network are a little bit different because they're not triggered by a search. And you're not limited to just text ads. This is a way to get really interactive, to show visuals. You know, if you have a unique product that you're selling, you can display that product there to really capture attention. It's fantastic for retail or for really growing brand awareness. So we're a bit out of time, so I'm not going to spend too much time here, but there's some great tools available to you, again, within AdWords when planning a display campaign. One is called the Display Planner. It works very, very similar to the Keyword Planner, where you're going to type in a bunch of information to get ideas and estimates of where your ads could display and how much traffic you can expect to capture. And it'll actually give you the best places to place your ads, the specific websites you may want to target. And it includes some interesting demographic information as well, which is extremely interesting to see. Age demographics, interests, and so on. So for image ads, if you have an in-house creative team, that's fantastic. Take advantage of them and really make professional, highly compelling ads. You know, some common best practices is to include a prominent call to action. So somebody wants to click on that ad. It could be a button or just very bold text. Use clear, high-quality images. Make sure your text is very easy to read. And experiment with different incentives like promotions and coupons. There's actually a tool in AdWords, if you don't have that in-house creative team, that'll help you create your ads very easily online without any previous graphic design experience. So it's a great tool that's available to you. And again, you know, AdWords is really trying to make it as easy as possible to get started. And you definitely want to take advantage of all these free tools to get up and running. But over time, you're going to want to work with somebody to really refine your campaigns and make them as targeted, as effective, and high quality as possible. So that's a quick overview of AdWords. I know it's a ton of information to pack in a very short period of time, but I hope that you found it beneficial. If you have any questions, because we're out of time, we're not going to go through those now, but please do ask them in the question window, and I'll reach out to you individually to answer those questions. You know, just to give you a few quick resources on where you can find some more information. Here's some links. You can go to gybo.com/resources. That's going to help you get your business online, get found in Google Maps completely free. It really takes a few minutes to get started, so we encourage you to go there. Google AdWords is where you can actually go and create your advertising account and get started. AdWords Express, again, that's that quick and easy way to start a campaign without much technical expertise. It's a great place for first-time advertisers to start, to just get their feet wet. And then if you want to learn some more helpful tips and tricks, you can go to the AdWords blog, and that's at adwords.blogspot.com. And of course, we encourage you to go visit our blog, where we'll share best practices, tips. Now, we are offering a promotion to everybody who's participated in today's webinar. Just go to bit.ly/AdWords-get-100, and we'll give you a voucher for $100 in advertising credit, which you'll be eligible to use after you spend your first $25. So it's not entirely free, but if you spend a minimum of $25 on Google AdWords, you'll get a free $100 credit that you can use to get more clicks to your business. And it's a great way to get started. That'll give you some good data to give you a sense of how many people are searching for your products and services online in your local area. And we're going to take that one step farther. If you're interested in getting started with AdWords within the next month, we'll actually create your campaign for you completely free. We'll do everything that it takes to get it up and running, and we'll let you give it a try, and we'll still give you that promotion. So just visit that URL to take advantage of the offer. And thank you all for joining today. I hope you found it helpful. Please reach out to us at any time, and stay tuned for our next event. Thank you.